Usually Thursdays we reserve for power rankings, right? Each week, especially with the season being so short, who are the top teams in the league, who's surging, who's fallen. I want to change up this week a little bit. The trade deadline was just Monday, so that's come and gone. So no really teams can add outside of, barring really any major injuries or calling up a minor leaguer from their alternate site. The teams, the way they're constructed now, or how they will be by the time the playoffs start and the World Series starts. So because we're about 60% of the way, I think now, especially in a short season, we're going to know wherever these teams are right now, for the most part, that's who they are. So how many can compete for the World Series? How many are true World Series contenders? As we sit here on September 3rd, about just a little under a month away from the regular season ending and getting to the playoffs. I have 6 teams right now in all of Major League Baseball out of 30. 6 teams in my mind can actually legitimately contend for the World Series, and that's it. No more. Let's say, what are those 6 teams? Love your thoughts, by the way. Who in your mind are the World Series contenders? I'll give you mine. I'd love to get yours. Worldwide Sports Radio Network on Facebook, WWSR_radio on Twitter, or at Ryan Hickey Show on Twitter. At Ryan Hickey Show. So the 6 teams. We'll go AL first, then NL. AL, in no particular order. The Tampa Bay Rays. I mean, break them up. The Rays are hot. First place in the AL East. 26-2. Doing it both offensively and defensively. Obviously, you got to do both to have success. But they are very balanced. 8th in runs scored in the league. They get on base a ton. They're 6th in on-base percentage. But also, more impressively, despite having 10 pitchers hurt, despite having their depth, which should be eviscerated, should be really hurt, team ERA is 8th in the league. They're getting a ton of strikeouts. Their bullpen is also top 10 in baseball. So think about it. This is all with 10 pitchers hurt. So reinforcements are coming back soon. So their help is on the way. But even with that, still top 10 in team ERA, top 10 in bullpen ERA, striking out a ton of guys, and more importantly, they own the Yankees. Because that's the thing, too. To be a World Series contender, you don't have to be good. Part of it, and what separates you, is that you have to be good enough to win. You have to be good enough to beat the top teams, not only in your division, in your league, and then obviously beat the best teams in the NL. I think the Rays can do that, because you know why? They own the Yankees. Own them. 8-2 after last night's win. They are the one team the Yankees have just been unable to figure out. And you know what they say, you got to beat the best in order to be the best. The Yankees, on paper, are one of the best teams in the league. Obviously, they're banged up, so they're struggling right now. But the Rays are doing that. 8-2 against the Yankees. For that reason, the Rays are one of my World Series contenders. Let's go to the Central. Cleveland Indians. Honestly, surprising to be here, to be honest. 23-14, first place in the AL Central. But as we talked about when we were previewing this season, what's going to win in this short season specifically? Right? You're playing a third of the year. I thought more importantly than ever, you're going to need pitching, and more pitching. And what have the Indians done so far? Pitched great, pitched really well, and pitched really well. First in starter ERA, 2.95. Third in bullpen ERA, 2.56. So the starters have been lights out. Then when they come out, the relievers have been lights out. Not to mention, helps to have when you have the best pitcher in baseball currently this year on your staff. Shane Bieber, not Justin Bieber, no relation, but Shane Bieber has been phenomenal, sensational. 6-0, a 1.2 ERA. And that's impressive, right? 6-0, 1.2 ERA. Those are great numbers. Those are really jump off the page. Excuse me. You know what he's averaging strikeout-wise? This man is averaging 14 strikeouts a game. 14. He has been dominant. He has been the most dominant pitcher in 2020. And when you have that great of pitching, you don't need the offense to be world beaters. You don't need your offense to be putting up 7, 8, 9 runs a game. So the offense is doing just enough to win so far. I think it has to pick it up a little bit. But you have the talent there in Jose Ramirez. You have Francisco Lindor. You have Carlos Santana. You have boppers. Franmil Reyes has been a great addition as the DH. But pitching, and more pitching. That's what wins the postseason. That's why right now the Indians are in first place, and that's why they are on this list of World Series contenders. We'll stick in the AL Central. I wanted to put the White Sox on the list, so I'm not. I'm going to put the Twins, though. They're in third place right now. Not great. 22-16. But similar to what the Indians are doing. Not the same level, but similar. Their team is built on pitching. Their success has come from pitching, which is, you look at the team, you assume the offense is going to lead the way. The offense has been underwhelming, outside, of course, of the immortal, at 39 years old, Nelson Cruz. Unbelievable season he's having. Hitting the crap out of the ball. We have Josh Johnson just returned from injury. And more important, too, kind of not only help the pitching staff, because Kenta Maeda has been really the anchor for the staff, which is a great addition for them. The bullpen has been solid. What helps pitching, and also it helps kind of help your offense if you're not putting up as many runs as you expect, or you're a little banged up, which the Twins are, they have the best defensive team in baseball. Which, as we know, defense gets highlighted and exacerbated if you have a bad defense in the playoffs. Errors will kill you. Give teams second, third, and fourth opportunities, they will convert. So the Twins being the best defensive team in baseball is massive so far for their success, especially when it comes to the playoff success. Sorry about that. I forgot. I'm doing everything at once here. I got so into the Twins and their defense, got to loop the bed. So sorry about that. But now we're back. But the Twins, because of their pitching, I love their defense, which is huge. They have the tools, they have the makings, and the characteristics to be a legitimate World Series contender, a tough out once October comes. Finally, so we're going to do 4 AL teams out of 6. Think about that. 4 AL teams out of 6. The Oakland A's, another first-place team, 10 games over. Haven't been on the shelf a little bit with some COVID tests, but what's the theme here so far? Right? There's a theme. The Rays, the Indians, the Twins, and now the A's. The theme is pitching. Pitching wins in the postseason. You got to have good pitching, especially you got to have a good bullpen because the bullpens get relied upon more and more and more. Guess what the A's have? Yeah, just the best bullpen in baseball. No big deal. Liam Hendricks is the closer. Lights out. Starters have been okay. Not great. But more importantly, again, this is talking about you just complimenting your team. The starters have been fine, which is enough because the bullpen has been so good. And as you know in the playoffs, the leash for starting pitcher gets shorter and shorter. Bullpens are relied upon more and more and more. So you have a lights-out bullpen. You have a dominant bullpen. If your bullpen is better than your starting staff, for the most part, you'll still be okay. You could survive a short inning or short outing, I should say. Not inning. It'd be tough to survive a short inning. You could survive a short outing, though, from your starting pitcher. 3 or 4 innings if your bullpen's good. That's what the A's have. Very sound defensively, led by their stud Matt Chapman at third base. And again, similar to the Twins, similar to the Indians, the offense is doing just enough right now, which is what you need. They have potential there. I like their lineup. I think it's deep. But because pitching wins, especially in a game when there's only 60 games, so you have to really worry about arm fatigue by the time it gets to October. Right? You're going to have almost a third of the innings on pitchers' arms compared to what you would in a normal season. So pitching is going to ride. A's have it. That's why I like them as the 4th and final World Series contender from the American League. So from the AL side, again, I have 6 teams I think right now can win the World Series, and that's it. The Rays, the Indians, the Twins, and the A's. I said that? A's, Twins, Indians, Rays. Sorry. And you have 2 teams from the NL. Both teams are going to be from the same division. Let's do the easy one first, right? Let's do, I don't want to say, well, we'll call them boring, but just because they're so good, there's really not much to highlight. The Los Angeles Dodgers. And I can honestly just stop right there. 28-10. Just, again, another great pace. They have it all. Best pitching staff in baseball. Another thing that wins in the playoffs and the postseason is clutch hitting. They're second in runs scored, but most importantly, they're the best team in baseball at getting runs home with 2 outs. Clutch hitting, as you see, if you can't get it done, you will lose a lot of games. This is a Mets fan talking here. Every single night I've watched this season so far, the Mets have gotten a leadoff double, got the runner over to third base with 1 out, no outs, can't get him home. The Mets have great on-base percentage. They hit a ton. They have great average as a team. They're one of the lowest teams in terms of runs scored, one of the highest teams in terms of leaving runners stranded on base and grinding to double plays. And there's a reason, the Mets are 5 games over under 500, and the Dodgers are 18 games over 500. You got to get those runs in with 2 outs. You got to get those clutch hits, and the Dodgers have been doing that. You'll see that highlighted big time in the playoffs. Dodgers are great at it. Congrats to them. There's a reason they're the best team in baseball, just flat out. Best team in baseball. So we won't spend a lot of time on them. The one team I do want to talk about, the 6th and final World Series contender. Didn't have them on my list to start the season. Thought they'd be a fun team. I thought they'd be a lot like the White Sox. And the White Sox even surprised. But a young team team that's sure, you know what? In a short season, because it's not a marathon like it normally is, they can get off to a hot start. They can get some people excited. But, for the most part, they'll come back to earth. They'll be okay. That lack of experience, I think, will come back to bite them at some point. But the San Diego Padres, at 23-15 this year, I'll call them America's team because they are the most exciting team in baseball so far. Oh! I'm getting shot on the show. Must not be a Padres fan, the great Mike Catino. Right in the direct shot. That's a good aim. Shot right in the chest. Great aim. I'll know never to meet Mike in the back alley, that's for sure, because he's not missing a shot. But the most exciting team in baseball. Speaking of a lot of excitement going on the show, we'll stick with the exciting theme. The San Diego Padres. A extremely talented, fun, excited young core. Fernando Tatis Jr., Jake Cronenworth, Manny Machado, Trent Grisham. Will Myers, who, looked like he was lost for a long time. He had some spurts. He had some bright spots coming up when he was young. Then went into a major slump about midway through his career. Now the last year or so, really turns around, really playing really well. And this is a team, the reason why I like the Padres and put them on this list is because they're going for it. They're capturing the momentum that they have, and they supplemented their team with major pieces that they needed. What has been their weakness so far? It has been pitching. They've scored the most runs in baseball so far this year. Scoring is not an issue. Lineup is deep, a lot of great hitters. But pitching has been a struggle. So what do they do at the trade deadline? They trade for Trevor Rosenthal to put in their closer spot. They trade for Mike Clevenger of the Indians to put in their rotation. So you bolster the rotation, you bolster the bullpen. That's right, you bring some guys, Rosenthal and Clevenger, been in the playoffs, veteran players. They have a lot of youth. Now you bolster that with some veteran leadership. Chris Paddock has had a little bit of a sophomore slump the second year, but he saw his potential. It still has a lot of talent as a second starter. But they've been great so far in mixing that. I love the mix, again, between youth and veteran leadership. And I love that they're going for it. They are in a year where, easy to kind of, 60 games, who really cares? They are saying, you know what? We're taking advantage. We're going for it. So because it's a short year, the momentum may not be slowed down. They can ride this out into the playoffs. So I'm legitimately putting the San Diego Padres as the sixth and final team in my mind that legitimately right now, on September 3rd, can win a World Series. And as you hear, names I didn't list, the Astros. I'm very concerned about their starting pitching. If you're relying on Zach Greinke to be your kind of ace, that honestly gets me nervous. He struggled last year in the postseason. You lost two of your aces, 1 and 1A, Justin Verlander and Garrett Cole, who have been great in the postseason for you. So to rely on young pitchers has me nervous. The Yankees need to get healthier. They could find their way back on the list. Don't get me wrong. This is not set in stone. It's set in quick concrete that's starting to settle. So time's running out. You still get in there, if you want to put, your hand imprint on it, you still time, but time is ticking. You don't have all day here. The Yankees need to get a lot healthier. No one knows when Aaron Judge is coming back. Giancarlo Stanton, James Paxton. Who knows when those guys come back? So the depth is finally starting to get exposed. They've had great contributions from a lot of younger players and bench players. But now because those guys aren't playing, let's say great in a 10 or 20 game spurt, they're being relied upon for 30, 40, 50 games night in and night out. They're starting to get exposed. So the Yankees have me concerned. The Astros aren't on this list. With the San Diego Padres, along with the Dodgers, the A's, the Twins, the Indians, and the Rays. All World Series contenders moving into the final month of the season, the final few weeks of the season. And that's it for me. 16.